Yeah, this guy doesn't like me too much. See you, buddy. I think that dog must have been a Michigan State fan or a USC fan or something. Wasn't too happy. Anyway, this is the main downtown area of Geneseo. So everything's centrally located. There's a public library. Still got another block or so to go before we get to the main business district. But another historical moment. Across the street here, that Victorian place that looks like a house. That's actually not a house. The house is behind the tree there. That's not a house. It's a restaurant. And that's was one of my jobs after high school. I spent a year there washing dishes and cooking food. And he's not going to watch us, but the guy who runs the place, he comes off as he presents himself as a Christian person when really he's one of the biggest fucking assholes I've ever came across. And I really doubt he's going to watch this video, but I never plan on going back there anyway, so whatever. And there's the Geneseo Historical Museum right there. I remember back in 8th grade we had a Civil War unit for that, and that was one of the stops we made. And apparently there's a bunch of tunnels underneath, and they think it might have been a part of the Underground Railroad. But yeah, I remember going there, and from just being in there, I almost wonder if that place isn't haunted. So, wouldn't surprise me one bit. Now here we're coming to the main downtown district, and yeah, during the first shift you're going to hear a lot of noise, so hopefully you guys can hear me no problem. But anyway, like I was saying, this is the main downtown district where all the businesses are and stuff. So as you can tell from just this small shot right here, it's a pretty, just your typical town with all, your typical small town business district. That right there is a Cellar restaurant. That's pretty much where all the small town high rollers go to dine. Well, you got cleaners next door to it, and, furniture shops right here in the windows, and all that. And as you can see, a lot of places are out of business. A lot of new shops in town. Hallmark's always been there. Just basically on this side, there's nothing but a bunch of, like I said, a bunch of businesses that are out of business or in the middle of becoming a new business. A couple of clothing stores, new restaurant, insurance agency that I don't remember. Pegasus, that's been there for a while. A nice antique shop, and coffee and all that stuff. I guess you'd call it more of a variety store. But other than that, just basically your typical small town business district. That's really all I can say about it. Not really much to describe. Not really into Chinese, but that building that has the tannish top on it, Chinese restaurant, one of two in this town. Never thought that place would get competition, but that's all the way back south of town. Now here's another Geneseo landmark, guys. I know you can probably just barely see it because I'm kind of standing in the shade right now and it's kind of covered pretty well, but Geneseo Central Theater right there. It's been in this town for well over 20 years. It's pretty much a landmark. Still going strong after all these years, and I stopped here because an interesting thing here happened back in December. Something that, which is one of those kind of things that you don't expect to see happen in small towns too much, but in that apartment building above it, there was actually a hostage situation. A guy who was just a complete nut job held his girlfriend hostage there for 9 hours, and shots were actually fired. And I can tell you guys one thing, in downtown Geneseo, that is just something that does not happen. Look it up if you don't believe me. It was nuts that day. Okay guys, now we've hit the other side of the tracks, but I don't mean that in a bad way. This is this right here is basically the party district, if you call it that, of Geneseo. But another true landmark in this town, as soon as I get up around the tree here, the Roma Pizza here in Geneseo. This place has been around here for 30 plus years. damn good pizza. I mean, that's shit I grew up on. Now, the guy who owns this place, or who did own this place, he passed away a couple years ago, but basically it's his businesses that are what keeps this town going. You know, there's also not only does his family own the pizza place, but they also own a laundry place, a car wash, and they have a bunch of apartment complexes up the ass. So, but I said this was the party district. These are all the Geneseo bars. This here is the corner. Actually, as a matter of fact, I was just here the other night to have a drink. So you got nice party bar. But unfortunately for me, this is where you sometimes run into people from your past that you don't want to see. And now, to all my old classmates, that's not to all of you. The majority of you I got along with just fine, so don't read anything into that. And you got across the street, Babe's Place, a bar that I used to frequent a lot. Now, to tell you guys the truth, I'm really not that much of a drinker. I mean, I'll have a beer now and then, but I'm not the type who goes out and gets plastered all the time. But, you know, that's that bar right there is where a lot of, I'm not going to say old-timers, but a lot of middle-aged people go. And to be honest with you, those people are the ones who tell the best stories next to senior citizens. Now, the bar in the brick building next to that is called Lehman's, and that's basically where all the Geneseo football alumni go and get their drink on after a Friday night game. Never been in there that much, but you know, what else can you say? Then, as we near the end of downtown, we got the Geneseo Donut Shop and Tim's Barber Shop. So, yeah, just your basic small town downtown. You know what I mean? Not really much more you can say than that. It's just, as a matter of fact, Geneseo is one of those towns where we've actually been compared to Mayberry in some ways. Maybe not as hillbillyish or redneckish, but I mean, we do have those fair share of people here. But this is really more of a Victorian style of town than anything. So, I mean, as you can see, it's a real nice, clean-looking town, and you know, I mean, no doubt. I mean, just like any town across America, across the world, I mean, this town has its fair share of issues. I mean, you know, there's a lot of, how do I say this nicely, but there's a lot of your fair share of drug activity around here, and of course, like any town, you have your fair share of assholes too, and there's plenty of them here in Geneseo. You know, a lot of people who think they're the shit when they're really not. They just have basically love to blow smoke out their ass and you know, make the smaller people like myself feel like shit when really they're, you know. And if it came down to it, you guys, you know, I'd rather, maybe some of you will see this as an excuse, but I would much rather be a nice poor guy than an asshole rich guy. I mean, of course, would I love to be rich? Absolutely, but you know, I know that this sounds like a cliche, but money isn't everything. I think it's your personality that counts, the kind of person that you are. Now that's something you always like to see, guys. I mean, obviously the fronts of them are newer, but you always love to see the vintage Pepsi logos on pop machines. Oh, speaking of vintage, here you go. Now that's vintage right there. You know, I always thought it'd be cool just to see if I couldn't buy one of these sometime down the road and fix them up, have one in my house or something like that. Anyway, on the tour here, this place is called Weber Meats. Popular butcher shop here in town. As a matter of fact, this isn't in service right now. It just burned down not too long ago. So, to be honest with you, I don't know what they're doing with it. I don't know if they're going to rebuild it or if they're going to tear it down and start shop somewhere else. But it's another landmark that's been here in town for a while. So, just thought I'd give it props and give it recognition. Here you go, guys. Just another angle from downtown. Some more another street, another side view of it. As you can see, just your typical small town area. You know, you got a Italian restaurant right there called Rubino's. Now this place is awesome. I've eaten there a couple times. Pretty damn good. Then you got the barber shop right next to it. See if we can't zoom in on the little pole right there. I mean, we're not a super small town. I mean, Genesee's a town of roughly about I don't know, 6,500, 7,000 people. That's just in the city limits alone. With this building right here is a telephone company. And what's really cool about this right here is this is when it's warmer out, which should be getting close. This is actually a fountain, and to be honest with you, it's really cool when they have it going. So, yeah, just another interesting part of Geneseo.